You're not getting any younger, so
just go for what you want in life. What do you have to lose?
Hey you! Yes, you! Welcome to the You're Not Getting Any Younger podcast, a podcast for people who want to disrupt their lives for a good reason, to make it count. I'm your host, Jen Glantz, and every week I'll drop a new episode with stories from real people just like you, who woke up one morning and decided to make big changes, starting with small things. We'll cover topics like entrepreneurship, love, failure, and self-care. Hey, you're not getting any younger, so let's make this an adventure. Ready? Hey, any youngers? Happy third week of January. I need to stop counting these weeks, but I cannot believe that we are so far into January. I'm still saying Happy New Year to people, and I know that it is way too late in the month to be doing that still, but I find it like this really unawkward thing to say when I have nothing else to say to a person, but I want to make them feel good. I'm like, oh, it was so great to meet you. Happy New Year. Because what else do you replace that with? I feel like you have to wait until Thanksgiving or Christmas or any other type of holiday later in the year to give somebody well wishes. If you have any ideas at all of another thing to say to a person when you're saying goodbye to make them feel great, that's not Happy New Year, send it my way so that it's not June and I'm still wishing people a Happy New Year and they are still looking at me like I am crazy. Last week, it just hit me that I didn't do any of my New Year's resolutions. I didn't even try. So when this week started, I decided to make 3 lists. I am such a big list maker. I'm a big paper, pencil, write down everything, figure it out from there. So I made 3 lists on Sunday night. The first list was a list of things that I was not proud of from the week before. These were things that I didn't do, or I spent too long doing, or I just messed up on. And I made a second list of things I was proud of. These were things I got done, things I kicked butt at, things I didn't think I could accomplish. And then my third list was a list of goals. What were some of the things I absolutely wanted to make sure that I got done this week? So I figured the best way to be honest with you is to share with you what was on these lists. I'm going to read you parts of my good, bad, and goals list from Sunday night. On my bad list, it was that I wasted a lot of time. In LA, a huge part of your day is commuting, and I don't have a car, so either I'm in the backseat of an Uber or I am on a train, and I find that I waste so much time in the backseat or on the train, scrolling through my phone, looking on Instagram, doing things that are just not productive. I was really upset that I didn't work out enough. I don't have any excuses for that, except I was just way too lazy, and a couple of days were raining last week, and when it rains in LA, practically the entire city shuts down. Like restaurants and things like that really do shut down because nobody leaves their house. So I figured me neither. I even signed up for workouts and just didn't go. So that was on my bad list. And my final thing on my bad list that made me really upset was that I checked my email so many times. I can totally admit that one of the reasons why I don't get enough done during the week is because I am so glued to my email. I am refreshing it every 5 minutes as if I'm waiting for someone to tell me I won the lottery. That's the bad list. Now, my good list, I was proud of myself because I wrote a couple of pages of a new book I'm trying to work on. And by a couple of pages, I mean like 1.5, but still, that's progress. Those are baby steps. I went to New Orleans and I taught a storytelling workshop, and I was super proud of myself because it was a 90-minute workshop in front of 70 people, and I thought that I did a great job because I made people laugh. So that went on my good list. I didn't spend too much money. I know that sounds vague, but one of my goals this year is to not spend money on things I don't need, like that coffee or that midday snack, or even eating 3 meals a day out. And I was super proud of myself because I ate anywhere between 3 to 2 meals at home every single day, which eliminated a lot of money spent on having to buy those meals. So those were my 2 lists. And then my third list, I said that this week I want to work out at least 3 times a week. I want to only check my email 4 times a day, which cuts down from 400 times a day. I want to make sure that I get one more huge speaking gig or book one more big wedding for Bridesmaid for Hire, and I want to read 100 pages of a book. I'm trying to read like one or two books a week, and so far I've been on track. So a big goal of mine this week is to read 100 more pages of my book. I really like these lists because I woke up on Monday morning and I desperately did not want to do anything on the list. It was raining in LA again, and I just wanted to stay home. But I was like, okay, I can't let my list down, not even myself down. It was more like, Jen, you can't let your list down. So I looked at the list and I said, what can I knock off first? And one of those things was working out. So I immediately booked a workout. I walked there a mile in the rain. I did the workout, and it made me just feel super connected to my list and also accountable for the goals that I had set. Email, that was huge. For the past couple of days, I've stuck to my 4 times a day only schedule. It's been super hard. I felt like the hardest part was just the natural instinct of just going to check your email. I'd be walking to the kitchen and trying to open my email app, or I'd be on my computer board typing in gmail.com. So a lot of it was the art of breaking that habit. But the other thing I learned only checking it 4 times a day versus 400 was I missed nothing. A huge part of why I felt like I had to check it 400 times a day was, what if someone emails me and they need me right now and I don't get back to them? Then they're going to go to somebody else, or they're going to not like me anymore. But the truth was that I didn't miss a thing. Even just checking it 4 times, I was able to respond to everything I had to respond to and put things in folders that I can get back to later on. It made me super productive. So I'm sticking with these goals. I've mentioned it a couple times so far that it's been raining in LA, which makes it very hard to do a lot of things. So today I decided to crawl under my bed and record this episode. People think that podcasting is super glamorous, but it's really just a bunch of people who sit with blankets over their heads. I have a sweatshirt over mine right now, and crawl inside their closets to get the perfect sound quality. It is completely not glamorous at all. Speaking of perfect, last night I was taking an Uber home after teaching at General Assembly in downtown LA, and my Uber driver and I were talking, and he told me that he was too shy to ever try karaoke, and I just could not believe it. Have any of you not done karaoke before? If so, you have to send me a message, you have to email me, because I just find that crazy. Karaoke is such a big part of our life adventure. It's something that we all do. We blow off steam, we just hold the microphone and we sing our favorite song. And he was telling me that he has never done it before because he is too shy and he's scared that people are going to judge him. And I kept saying, no. Like, the purpose of karaoke is not to become the next American Idol. It's just to sing a song that everyone sings along with you. Like, people won't even be able to hear your voice. And he was telling me this, and I seriously, I almost asked him to pull the car over and find the nearest karaoke bar and let's go and do it, because I just felt so connected to making him overcome this thing that to me sounded like not a big deal at all, but to him was this major fear. And luckily, by the time I almost stomached the courage to ask him that, we were at my destination and I got out of the car. But before I did, I gave him, one last dose of inspiration and said to him, whatever you do in the next week, go pick up a microphone and sing at the top of your lungs your favorite song, because life is so short and karaoke is one of the coolest and most fun things to do. And as I closed the door, I thought to myself, Jen, there are things that you are too shy to do, you are too scared to do, that if you told other people, they would give you the same advice. Like, are you crazy? Do it right now. Nobody's going to judge you. And I think sometimes when we give people advice like that, that's so strong, we also have to look at our own lives and think, okay, how can we apply it? So that is my next goal of next week. I know I'm hitting you with lots of goals, lots of lists, is to find a way to do something that I am way too shy to do. And I will keep you posted on what that is. As always, I want to thank you all so much for listening to my podcast. It truly means the world to me, and rating it 5 stars, reviewing it on iTunes, it helps me keep this going and makes the biggest difference. So I want to thank you so much. This week's guest is comedian and Vanderpump Rules star Rachael O'Brien. We chat about things that a lot of us are too scared to admit. We talk about when you Google search for medical symptoms and you just find yourself in a downward spiral of, oh my God, I have this and that. We talk about how to own who you are, how to make new friends, and also if and how you should reach out to people when you're sad. My favorite quote that Rachel says on this show is, if you're going to be an expert in anything, it should be being you. Own who you are, even the bad stuff. I love it. We should hang out more than just on this podcast, which means the next time that you're on Facebook or Instagram or Google, type in my name, Jen Glantz, in the search bar and let's connect. Plus, come hang out with us in the secret You're Not Getting Any Younger Facebook group. If you're wondering what in the world goes on there, come see for yourself. It is seriously so good to see you. I feel like even the first time I met you, I was like, this person's an awesome freaking person.
Thank you. I thought that about you too.
Thank you.
And we always say we're going to hang out, but we don't.
I know, but
why don't we? What are you doing tonight?
Hanging out with you. I was telling you on the way over here, I got into like a frantic Google search because I've been peeing so much.
You haven't peed once since you've been here, and it's been like...
Because I'm trying to impress you, and I'm holding it in.
It's been 2 hours since you've been here. You haven't peed once. I've peed 3 times.
The second I leave here, I'm probably going to pee in your bushes. That's how I'm feeling. Seriously.
Why don't you pee in my bathroom?
I know. I'll get like nervous about that, you know? Are you a nervous peer?
If someone's in the room, yeah. Oh, for sure. Like pee fright, yeah.
Yeah. But I was Googling, what does it mean when you pee a bunch of times? And the results were practically like, you need to go to the doctor immediately.
Anytime you Google a health issue, it basically says that.
Okay, so what's a health issue that you've Googled where you were like, should I contact someone?
I don't know that I Google them that often. I'm trying to think. I don't know. I think I Google, like I have a thyroid problem, so I'll Google stuff about that sometimes, but I already know it exists.
Does
I
it
don't
ever
know.
freak you out what you see?
Not really, because I take it with a grain of salt. Like, it's sort of like, you know, it's... Everyone knows that people get freaked out when they go to, like, WebMD.
Yes. Do you ever Google yourself?
No.
Why?
Incredibly rarely. So yes, I do, but very rarely. I don't want to know what people say about me. I don't even really read my podcast reviews. I've started to again, but then there's this thing that you can do where you click most favorable and it will list them like that. And those are the only ones I read.
I love that. That is seriously such a great feature because I'm the kind of person who really feels bad when people say nasty things about me. You don't at all.
Oh, no, I do feel bad. That's why I don't read them.
But do you ever get emails from people or DMs from people who are like, blah, 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 Rachel, you're blah, blah, blah?
No, most of them are very nice. I think people that say mean stuff, it's mostly just a cowardly, like, mean comment randomly.
I sometimes feel like people who take the initiative to write you mean stuff must have something like really, really awful happening to them. Like I almost want to write back and be like, are you okay? You know?
You should. That's actually a great response.
I know.
Or do you need a hug? I've said that before.
Have you really?
Oh, yeah. Like a mean comment like on my Instagram. I just wrote back, do you need a hug?
What was the response back?
I don't even think they responded. I'm trying to remember. I've also responded, you seem really fun to be around.
Wait, I love this. Tell us more.
I get kind of a kick out of like responding something like snarky back to people.
Yeah. Because they want you to be pissed. So if you're not pissed, they're confused.
Yeah. I don't get a ton of... I've realized that actually. I'm pretty lucky where I don't get a ton of super mean stuff said to me. I think because I'm fairly non-controversial, which might mean I'm boring. I don't know.
No. You know what? The reason why I wanted you to come on today was because I think one of the coolest things about you in real life, in your shows, and on social media is that you're real. You're honest. Like, I feel like you really go out there and say, I'm Rachel, I'm all these things, and that's me.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
But I think that's rare. I really think that's a rare thing to have.
Yeah, I think with social media now, a lot of people aren't like that. I feel like a lot of my friends, though, like when I think of like, you know, like my Vanderpump friends and stuff, like Stassi, for example, is very much like, here I am, I make mistakes. Like, you know, she might make mistakes, but I actually really appreciate how honest she is about stuff. Like so I almost strive to be like that, where it's just like, it makes people feel more human, you know?
It makes them feel like you're a real person. And then you meet them in person, you're like, oh, that's exactly how you are. Like,
exactly.
You even said, like, I own being awkward. I own being weird. We were talking about how making new friends is super hard. And you meet a girl in a workout class, like, how do you approach them and say, let's be friends? Like, I feel like I would creep them out beyond belief.
I'm sure I would too. I probably would like ask them to be friends and be like, oh, I'm not trying to hit on you, but like, I don't know, what's your name? I don't know. Like,
Would you be laughing, or I'd be like bright red, like get me the heck out of here?
I'd probably be laughing. I don't know. I don't know that I would go up to. I don't know that I would even go up to someone though and just say like, "Hey, let's be friends." I feel like in this setting, like
Yeah.
when you did my podcast, I was like, "Oh, I really like you. We should hang out." But
Yeah.
we've also been talking intimately for an hour before that.
Such true.
It's not like we were doing crunches next to each other. Like, how do you? I mean, and how do you even know that you want to be friends with someone based on a workout class?
I've actually, okay, this is going to sound weird. I met like a lifelong friend in a workout class last year because after it was over, she came up to me and was like, I read your book. It's awesome. And I was like,
Oh,
I was so taken back, but then
so nice.
we became like really good friends. But I don't think I would ever have the courage to go up to a person and be like, I want to be your friend. But I feel like you would. I really feel like you would.
I don't know. I don't know that I've ever done it. I don't know if I would. I really don't know. I can't answer that question.
Well, I really think, again, what I like about you a lot is that you are who you are. So people
Thank you.
out there,
This whole podcast is just a compliment of Rachel.
you know, that's what we're here for on the You're Not Getting Any Younger show. I know a lot of people listening to this podcast are working in 2019 on owning who they are, having more confidence. What would you say to a person who's not owning up to who they are? They're working to be somebody else, but they really should just be like really loving who they are. What kind of advice do you have for them?
Well, I think that the only person that's going to be really good at being you is you. If you're going to be an expert at anything, that would be being you. And there's a lot of people that have huge careers and amazing lives off of just owning who they are. And that means owning the bad stuff too. I don't know why you would want to be anything but yourself. I mean, it's all you have anyways.
But then how do you own the bad stuff if you're embarrassed by it? Like, so many people feel like they can't be super weird or they can't be super sad at times. Like, how do you own the stuff about you that our culture and our society has said that's not cool all the time?
Well, do you know what I think when you say that is that it's almost a narcissistic thought to think that you're the only weird person.
Yes.
You know, it's like you're not any different than anyone else. We're all weird. So almost thinking like I'm the only person that's not allowed to be this way is kind of like you should just give that up because it kind of makes you seem like a narcissist.
That's sort of true, especially like, and this is also when bad things are happening in your life, to feel like you're the only person that this has ever happened to you. Like, that's not true.
It's not true, and way worse things have happened to most people.
Yeah. So how do you, and this is a question from one of our listeners, Molly, she wants to know, how do you recover when you're on stage, you tell a joke, and maybe it doesn't hit the best way you thought it was going to hit? What do you do?
That it is hard. And it's weird because, 5 seconds of silence can feel like 5 hours in your head. I guess I've been on stage so much and it's happened so much that like it's not as shocking anymore. How do I recover? I guess I keep going, and I think that's a great, motto for life is okay, here's the other option. It doesn't go well. I sit there and cry on stage. Well, that's not going to work. I walk off stage. That's not going to work either. I start every other option besides keep going is going to make me seem like a crazy person or a depressed. Like, so I guess I do what the only option is, which is keep going, tell another joke or address like, oh, that didn't go over well, which sometimes I do.
It's so true. And we were just talking about this, about like personal situations. I was telling you how like I feel like some people don't like me and stuff like that. And you were sort of saying like it's not the best thing to go around thinking like everyone cares so much about you. And even if people don't laugh at you the way they want to, it doesn't mean that they don't respect you or think your joke's awesome. It's like we almost go around thinking that like everybody has to have the reaction we want, but people can do whatever they want.
Exactly. You can't control the way people are.
No. You are very public on social media. Obviously, you post a lot about your life, who you are, what you're up to, your tours, all those cool things. How do you continue to present yourself on social media when maybe things are not going so well in your life? Are you open about it? Are you slightly open about it? How do you get that balance?
I think I post less when maybe there's like something going on. I don't often post like if I'm really sad or anything, but I'm also not a person that really reaches out to people when I'm sad.
Me neither.
I feel, which I guess is kind of a bad thing.
Yeah.
But sometimes I feel like if I reach out to people and tell them I'm sad, then it makes it more real. And then it's like, And then I also think, okay, well, now this person knows this about me. And I was explaining on my podcast, I had a really bad year of a lot of people talking about me. And I'm now just kind of paranoid that, like, well, if I tell them that this thing is bad, they're always going to remember it and then they can use it against me later, which I think this is a very unhealthy way of living that I'm explaining right now. But in terms of social media, yeah, I don't post about it. I talk about it on my podcast, but my podcast listeners, I feel like, are my friends.
Yeah, I feel that way too. But I want to go back to the feeling of sad and not reaching out to everyone. I feel like I'm the same way. And I think my reason is I don't want to bother you.
Yeah, I don't want to bother people.
You know?
Yeah, that's
true. Is that
true.
true? Like this morning I was sad and I was like, I need to talk to somebody. And I went through my phone and I was like, well, this person's busy and this person's flying and this person hears it all the time. So
yeah,
I'm not going to.
You can call me anytime.
I honestly might.
You do go for it.
But like, do you ever feel like if you reach out to someone and tell them like, I'm not feeling so great today, you're bothering them, and then you become Rachel, that girl that's just like always doing
definitely.
something?
That's why I don't. I think that, and then they're always going to think, and then I think too, which I guess is why you should reach out to people, because you probably get over it by talking about it. Pretty soon after I like tell them, I'm like kind of over it, and then I'm like, well, shit. Now that I like brought the mood down.
I know, but even when I came here today, I was like, Rachel, here's every bad thing happening in my life. And then
I asked, though. You didn't just come in a bad mood. I've been wondering for like a year what's going on. I could
have been like, nothing. Everything is fine. But I told you. And then like, I felt really good after.
Yeah.
You know? And
you would have
like,
felt horrible if you were like, everything's fine.
Yeah.
And I would have been like, I don't know. You keep posting that it's not.
No, and you and your mom are very concerned,
yes.
which I appreciate. But I do think also the cool thing is like we're friends, but we're also sort of strangers. And sometimes telling all of your problems to a person who is not connected to your life at all is like the best feeling.
I totally agree. Yeah.
You know,
because they don't have like a preconceived notion or judgment necessarily. And they don't, especially if it involves other people, they might not know the people at all. So they're giving you like very unbiased advice.
Yeah, it's an amazing feeling. What advice do you have for people who are trying to be honest on social media, but they don't want to be oversharing about some of the not so great things in their life?
I definitely don't think people should overshare. That's for sure. I think that some things are because that's on there for forever unless you delete it, and enough people see it, they're not going to forget about it necessarily.
Yeah.
And that might have been like a mood you were in that you don't necessarily want everyone to know about later. So I wouldn't overshare, but I also wouldn't pretend like your life is absolutely perfect, because no one's life is perfect, and it makes you very unrelatable. And I think that it alienates certain people. You might have like admirers that are like, wow, look how perfect her life is or whatever, but those aren't. Then they're admiring you for something that's not even your full life. So I don't know. I would be as honest as possible, but not post whenever you're in like a weird mood or bad. We don't need to see everything. You'll regret it later, I'm pretty sure.
I always have a rule, like never post about what's happening now.
Mm-hmm.
Like you have to have some buffer time between like the bad and how you feel now, because you need to process it first before you put it out on social media, whether it's good or bad.
Yeah.
You know? I want to end with a quick fire round for you.
All right.
You ready?
I am ready.
Okay. These questions are random, but I thought about them on the treadmill, so I'm asking you them today.
Okay.
What's your favorite kind of candy?
Chocolate.
Favorite kind of drink?
Like alcoholic or regular?
Both.
Club soda or LaCroix for regular, and then red wine.
What keeps you up at night?
Wanting to be better and succeed, and every damn thought I have about that.
How do you get your top eyeliner so perfect?
I've been doing it since I was like 14. I don't know.
Can you please help me?
Absolutely.
How do you get an Uber driver to not talk to you?
They don't. I don't. You have to be a wizard. I don't think that there's no magic formula. They don't stop, even if you're quiet. I have no answer for that, and I am upset about it.
On the way over, I had my headphones in. I was actually listening to your podcast, blasting your podcast in my ears, and he could not stop having a full conversation with me.
It's like, what do you say?
I closed my eyes. I was fake sleeping, and he was still like, tell me about your life.
It's so annoying. I feel bad because, I mean, maybe they're just bored, and I get it, but like, I don't know. At a certain point, like, there's social cues.
I just feel like they feel like they're in control. It's their car, and that you just don't have a choice. It's really hard.
Cab drivers don't do that.
I know. New York cab drivers.
They do their job.
Yeah, they'll actually like be happier if you don't talk to them.
I think Uber and Lyft did a bad job of like, we're friendly. We're a part of, it's a social networking thing. Like, no, it's a ride. It's a cab.
Yeah. everyone be quiet. Just take me to where I need to go.
Yeah.
Final question. You're not getting any younger, so.
Oh, I finished the
fill in
sentence?
the blank.
Is it advice for people or myself?
Combo.
You're not getting any younger, so just go for what you want in life. What do you have to lose?
I love it. Rachel, thank you so much for doing the show. Please tell our listeners where they can A, find you on social media, and B, come see you in person as you tour this great country.
Yeah. On social media, I'm at Rachael N. O'Brien. Reads like Rachel O'Brien. It's RachaelNobrien. And then you can get my tour dates there, or I post them on my website, RachelO'BrienComedy.com. Yeah. Come see me in Chicago on February 4th and 5th at Zany's Chicago. February 6th, I'm at Zany's Nashville. And then February 20th, I'm at the Tempe Improv, Tempe, Arizona.
Ooh, we will post all of this on our website, anyyounger.com.
Hey, you. Thank you for listening to the You're Not Getting Any Younger podcast. There are hundreds of thousands of pods out there, so thank you for listening to this one. You can find the show notes for this week's episode up on our website, anyyounger.com. Subscribe, rate, and review the You're Not Getting Any Younger podcast on iTunes so that other ears around the world can listen too. Oh, and join our secret You're Not Getting Any Younger Facebook group, where over 1,000 people are talking about how to disrupt their lives, for a good reason, to make it count. Until next week, all my love, Jen Glantz.